Welcome back to another episode of How Did They Grow? I created this podcast because I wanted you to learn how other coaches, freelancers, service providers, and course sellers are growing their business, landing 10 to 20 new clients every single month, paying them 50, 100, 200K months. See, if they've done it, you can too. And that's just the reality. And I want you to listen to these podcasts to understand what strategies are they using, what techniques are they exploring, because it's in these gems that you can apply it to your business and actually scale things up. When you're ready and you feel like you actually want to learn practical, proven methodologies, or even you want to hire a team that can build you a profitable personal brand, book in a chat with our team because we can guarantee you go viral and guarantee you get clients for your business.
Welcome to the show, guys. This is the How Did They Grow podcast, and today we have on Chonsten Jennings. Tell me I got that right.
You did, man. Fantastic job.
Amazing. Chonsten, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first off, thank you for having me, man. I'm excited to be having this conversation with you. I'm sure we have a ton of alignment when it comes to bringing impact and value to not only your audience, but hopefully I can break this up and give it to my audience with the gems and nuggets for us to be able to, inspire the aspiring. So a little bit about me. I'm in Orlando, Florida. I've been in Orlando since I was 4. So I guess I'm a Floridian at this point. I've never always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I had it in the back of my mind, but never knew what it took. So I started out in the basketball world, as we talked about off camera. Fast forward, I went from high school, about to go into college. I ended up breaking my foot, so I had to redirect. I ended up becoming a basketball trainer. Then from there, I had the pleasure of working with basketball NBA stars like Aaron Gordon and Nikola Vucevic, Courtney Lee, just to name a few, Tobias Harris, just to name a few. And then from there, I realized that I wasn't fulfilled in that space. I enjoyed the off-court conversations rather than the on-court conversations and the training and all that stuff. Although I loved it, well, I'll say I liked it, but I didn't love it. And I'll explain that a little bit later on. From there, I started this podcast called The Luminary Panel. And then from there, I started doing workshops. And from there, I ended up doing my coaching and consulting business. And a little bit about the Luminary Panel, I strive to connect the aspiring entrepreneur to the inspiring entrepreneur story and by becoming an immediate resource. And through becoming an immediate resource, I wanted to give people that were in my shoes that may want to be an entrepreneur but don't have the guidance or try entrepreneurship and failed miserably like myself and wanted to have the access to resources that have been successful. And I realized with that, most people feel like they don't deserve success or they feel like success is so far away. And I help people realize that success starts inward, which the byproduct of success is outwardly. So monetary gain, money, all that good stuff is a result of how much work you've done inwardly. So that's just the snippet of me, man.
Amazing. So the podcast came before the business.
It did. So I know we're talking about how social media grew the business. So for me, I realized that my people equity will allow my business to grow. And what do I mean by that? I had to connect with the right people at the right time that allowed the business to flourish and allow my personal brand to expand in my natural city, especially coming from a space of just straight basketball and enter into entrepreneurship with a new crowd, new people to have to meet with a new idea that most people wouldn't understand how to make monetary gain from. But I know that I was aligned with my purpose and I was fulfilled in the space, and that allowed me to get to this point. So
Amazing. How long ago was that when you started the podcast?
this was going on 2 years now. So April will be 2 years. As an idea, I didn't start shooting until about July. But within those months, I was connecting with the right people and batch recording all of our podcasts and episodes. And then from there, it's been awesome. Like this season, we're batch recording, and I had a pleasure of connecting with this guy named Josh Lyons. He's one of the sales guys for.
That's where I know you. That's where I know you, bro.
Yeah.
I knew you. Yeah, I knew you look familiar. That's where I know you.
That's hilarious. So yeah, that's one of the guys that I had the pleasure of connecting with, and And
Yeah.
there's so many other people that I get a chance to connect with. But though I know I'll get some eyebrow raises with that one.
What did you say? I didn't quite catch the last thing you said.
Yeah, I said I'm sure I would have got some eyebrow raises with that one, with that name right there.
Why? Because why do you say so?
Because he had the opportunity to coach with Alex Ramosi, and most people are starting to pick up.
Yeah.
And what's funny is I don't know if you're familiar with Brad Lee. Brad Lee is one of the guys I actually like listening to when it comes to like entrepreneurship and all that stuff. But he's a part of his podcast. And some told me to just reach out to him in his DM because I was already following him. And he got back
Yeah.
to me immediately. So I would recommend you guys trying to reach out to him. He'd love to. Super dope dude, super humble, super, dope, but his vision aligns with you guys too. So I think that'd be a
Amazing.
good connection to make, man.
Amazing. So the podcast went well. So I'm trying to paint the picture from behind. The podcast went well. You were getting good people on. Why business coaching? Why not something else?
So I like to say this on my speaking engagements. Usually when we start a business or a new idea, it's usually given the tools to our younger self that need it the most. So previously, when I mentioned my story, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I just didn't know how to. So having the conversations and connecting with people, trying to get the best out of people was my strong suit. And I realized that could be my way to understanding what entrepreneurship looked like. And because of that, it allowed me to have meaningful relationships, one, conversations, two, but also relationships that allowed the business to grow rapidly. So as you know, Mike, it's not about what you know most times. It's usually about who you know. And if you had a credibility from someone else that has the respect, it automatically gains respect and traction for whatever you decide to do. So from the podcast, we end up doing workshops in person because I believe that, all right, people see me all over social media in my inner circle, but I feel like I'm losing the personal touch with helping people connect with me personally. And I always want to teach people as much as I can. And also, I was trying to get on platforms. Again, I'm the new kid on the block. So I was like, I might as well just build my own platform to be able to do that. So I brought in other speakers, and we'll have a fantastic job. We'll fill up a room with 60 to 80 people at a time, and it was once a month. So people are like craving for that. But I'm saying all that to say, having the right people in your corner, having the right people as a, what's the best word to use? As a liaison.
Vehicle?
Yep, vehicle, conduit, liaison will exponentially help you grow your business.
Definitely. Because like you said, you started the podcast July a couple years ago, right? And you started your business way later. And you're already doing, according to the form, you're already doing upwards of 20K a month. That's really, really impressive. So what would you say to the audience in terms of, because a lot of coaches in the beginning are skeptical in terms of trying to work with experts, quote unquote, because you know how social media can be. Everyone is a guru now on social media. You know what I mean? Just put a couple of videos on your page, and now you're a guru. And there's a lot of the S word, scamming going on, and a lot of coaches are skeptical. They don't want to get ripped over. What would you say to them?
The biggest thing is for me to want to do business with someone, I always slow roll it. The reason why I slow roll it is not because of if they can get the job done. It's about if we can work together. Is there synergy? Yeah. Is there alignment? Do they have similar values to me? Do they understand what I'm looking to, portray on the screen? Are they looking to portray? Are they a good representation of me if we say we do business? Right? That's the first thing. The second thing is get with someone that has done the numbers, that has the credibility, that has worked with multiple people and can show the receipts, that has done over 20K in my case and others in their case. But get with people that are credible. And if you have to, ask around. Like, hey, I see you're following this company. What do you know about them? Then from there, you'll know if that's a good fit for you or not, right? Hopefully that answered the question properly.
I hope you're enjoying this podcast. I hope you're taking notes. I hope you're learning so much practical wisdom, because that's what I really wanted from this podcast. Now, I just want to quickly say, if you're looking for a team that can actually help you explode and go viral with your personal brand with proven methodologies, I say this because I've been doing this for the past 5 years. We've got a team of 30 people who are ready to go ahead and explode your brand so you can get clients begging to work with you. Have a chat with one of our advisors. You can book in a chat using one of the links around this video, because that chat might just change your life.
Definitely. I think that's amazing. So let's kind of get back into the story. Started a podcast started going well. At this point, starting a podcast, is it also simultaneously you starting to build your personal brand?
Yes, I did.
Or,
So the podcast helped me build the personal brand. So
Okay.
I use the podcast route because I know people love talking about themselves, and using that as a platform to, I call it social hacking. And the reason why I say that is because, again, going back to what we said earlier, if you get connected with the right person, they have their own audience on their own. So being seen by another person's audience and understanding you got the main guy on your platform says volumes about who you are. There's times where I walk around or go to networking events and they say, "Oh, I've seen you before." I'm like, "Where you seen me at?" Or like, "Oh, I seen you just record such and such." Yeah, that's my guy. And then we have conversation and mutuality. But then that gives me the opportunity to talk about my coaching program because that gave me instant credibility. So again, my method was probably a little bit different from most because I started out with $0 in the bank. I started out with nothing. I was sleeping in my car. I was sleeping in hotels. I was going back and forth from place to place. But I had this vision, I had this mission, and I realized what my purpose was. And I gave everything that I could to make sure that happened. And my currency was people's hacking, social hacking.
Amazing. Basically, just to kind of break it down for the audience, if you know someone who has an authority, if you know someone who is an authority, who has that audience, try to get your way to collab and tap into their audience, basically, because like it's the fastest. I mean, other than throwing thousands of dollars on ads, it's probably the fastest way to grow. Just to tap into the audience that's already there.
Yeah. And the easiest way to do that is offer something first. Don't try to go in asking, and expecting something good to come out of that. Right?
Yeah.
Especially when they're like, "I don't need your help. Like, what are we having this conversation for?" Right?
Yeah.
Especially for people in the higher ups. As you know, I'm sure you have multiple conversations like this. But giving someone a platform similar to how you did this, and I found you guys on Instagram, I was like, "Yo, this is a fantastic idea. And I wanted to be a part of it." You guys are giving value first, and then in return, I want to be able to help you as much as I can. There's so many coaches that's under our umbrella that need the service. There's so many people that we can figure out how to collaborate as far as what we're doing, because I've done coaching differently. And this is probably another question you're going to bring up, is that I just work on the back end stuff. I give people the platform to use our marketing, our promotion, our systems, our onboarding process, all of that stuff. And then they are just doing what they do best, which is coaching and consulting. Now, obviously, I have my clients. That was my ability to beta test everything to make sure all things are well. And then I was able to offer this. But within, I want to say, 2 weeks of me actually deciding to do the coaching under our umbrella, I got 5 coaches now. Because they bought into who I am, they see the product, they see who I've been able to work with, and now we're just streamlining it.
Amazing. I think there's a little bit of a lag, but I caught everything you said. That's amazing. Definitely. Let's kind of get into your social media strategy. What are you doing for social media right now? And how do you even get most of your clients? Obviously, you said you do a lot of podcasts. Is it a lot of referrals? Is it a lot of networking? Do you do any ads, or do you rely on organic? And how has organic treated you?
For me personally, I like the organic route. The reason why I say that is because there's so many times where I try ads, no matter what agency I went through, I would get shit leads. Excuse my language. The reason why I say that is because so many people want it, but they don't understand the idea of what it takes to invest in it. In
Yeah.
the personal development side, the coaching side, scaling side, no matter what the case is. But giving them the tools is difficult when they don't understand the value. And I believe for us, it's been very beneficial when we have the organic reach because now we get to make a connection. Going back to alignment and synergy, right? We just don't like just anybody coming to the program. We have stuff for everybody, but it's not for anybody.
Mm.
Does it make sense?
That make 100% sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So for us, it just allows us to just weed them out a lot easier if we're doing an organic route. But some may work with the, the ones that do the ads. But also going back to your point earlier about why people feel like it's a scam, because every person or agency is doing ads. But the difference between what you guys are doing and what everybody else is doing, you're giving value first. You're giving them a platform to speak. You're giving them opportunities to get testimonials and talk about what the importance is of digital marketing and doing it the right way with receipts. And now that's a no-brainer for most that need that extra boost to help them scale their business, for sure.
Definitely. I definitely think that's amazing and appreciate the nice words as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Kai, I think the first question kind of went under the rug. Like, where do you get most of your clients for you?
Yeah. So our model is very interesting. So we've partnered up with
Get into it.
we've partnered with a ton of organizations and nonprofits that we're able to streamline our coaches to be doing speaking engagements. So with our podcast, we've implemented going live a lot more often, giving free webinars, doing free roundtables in person to streamline what we're actually doing as a service and an offer. And then from there, when the people register for those things, we're able to already streamline them because they're warm leads. Because they already took the time to register and do all that stuff, show up to the event, show up online, they're interested. So now all we got to do is do a good job of giving them the value on the back end once they get into our atmosphere and allow them to make sure that they made the idea to show up and want the difference and the change in themselves. So to answer the question, we figured out a very unique way to do our lead filling. So we do, like I said earlier, we do free webinars, we do free workshops, we do free roundtables, we do Instagram lives, we do things like this. We go do speaking engagements. We use my platform, the Luminary Panel. We use others' platforms. So it made it so easy for us. It's like there's a no-brainer for someone that may be struggling to, scale their coaching business, consultant business. We've done all the work for you. You guys have done all the work for them. All you got to do is just plug yourself in and just do what you do best, which is coaching and consulting.
Amazing. And that's that's really the dream of a lot of coaches, like speaking gigs. A lot of coaches just want to be able to speak on stage, kind of do these conferences and speak to people, go to these roundtables. So definitely does play a big role. And I think that's really, really smart. So are you finding these people on Instagram in terms of the people who sign up for the free stuff?
Yeah. So what we do is we just naturally just post it and we tag people in that we know that have been regulars or even our existing clients. And we give them incentives like, hey, as many people as you can get in to the program or anything that we're doing, we'll give you a such and such discount, or we'll give you a free month, or whatever the case is. So incentivizing our current clients to bring in new clients, it's almost like a revolving door. And then later on, within a couple months, we're planning to launch an academy for aspiring coaches or coaches that's on the brink of figuring out what their niche is when it comes to coaching and consulting, and then be able to add that as a service as well. So we're almost in them at all prongs and, all that stuff, which is going to be really, really exciting to witness. I got a question for you, Mike. What are you finding the most difficult part about talking to these entrepreneurs that want or need the service that they're not actually believing in? Like, what part do you feel like they should start buying into, and the reason why they need you guys?
Well, I think because I speak to a lot of people, one thing I will say is like there is this apprehension, right? Especially from older people, older coaches, and I mean age-wise, older coaches who are not really conversant with the online world. Not to mean that they're not posting on social media, but like, older people just tend to get scammed a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like there is this apprehension. They're like, even this podcast, which is free, is like some people come and they say like, why is this stuff free? Why are you guys running ads? What are you guys trying to do? And it's like, chill out, man. We're just trying to provide value. That's all we're trying to do. Provide value for our audience, give you a platform, get connections in the industry. That's all we're trying to do, right?
Yeah.
Just because we put it behind, I don't know, Facebook, doesn't mean it's fishy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. How do you
Yeah.
feel
So
like
I think,
how do you guys feel like you can break that barrier? Because I deal with that now. Like, it's hard for me to acquire older clients because one is
yeah,
coming for a younger guy. Like, yo, you don't know nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, da da da. But in reality,
yeah,
for example, I had a conversation with one of the CEOs for Little Caesars, a pizza company that's nationwide. And one of the
Okay.
conversations that we had was that he did not know his purpose yet. Because I coach in fulfillment, I coach alignment, I coach purpose-driven decisions to do the things that you love rather than what you have to do. So
Yeah.
my question to him was, I was like, yo, like, what do you feel like your impact is? What does impact mean to you? And he hesitated, and he had a hard time trying to answer that question. So that goes to show me that, yes, although they are apprehensive about new and change, as humans, we're already apprehensive of those things.
Yeah.
But how do we break the barrier to make them understand that this is something safe for them? You know?
I think the most important thing is showing them something tangible. And with social media, with what we do, because our thing is like, it's not just coaching. Coaching is a part of it, but it's a done for you service. So showing them people that we've been able to scale, people similar to what they do. Here's this person who's also doing business coaching. We were able to take them to hundreds of thousands of followers and scale their business using that, because our stuff is like not just focused on getting viral, but focused on converting that virality to money.
Yep.
So showing them, hey, look at Chester. We were able to take Chester from here to here. Look at, I don't know, Stephanie. Look at Stephanie. We were able to take her from a point where she wasn't even comfortable on camera to a point where she's at 200,000 plus followers. And she's doing her business coaching. She was spotted by the DOJ. She had a partnership with Pepsi. She's no different than you. She just had trust in what we were saying. And it's hard to break that belief. But I think just like anything, even regardless whether it's old people or not, showing the person that tangibly, here's what this stuff can do. I don't know if that makes sense. So I think results, being grounded in results and being confident in your ability as well will go a long way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I would recommend, if you don't mind me adding, I would recommend either having an older face, voice, age as a spokesperson and become an affiliate with you guys so that they can talk to the older crowd to help them understand what it looks like to use social media as an asset and not a liability. Because it seems like you guys are a younger business as far as like age-wise. You guys are killing it, which is fantastic. But at the end of the day, I was watching this YouTube video of Myron Golden, and he said, you close deal. Most people close deal based off of where it's coming from. So let's say I want to come to you and say, hey, I got this $100,000 offer I want to give you, and I want to be able to bring you in as a consultant, as a coach. I want to give you the tools necessary so that you can do it for yourself. 9 times out of 10, you're probably gonna say, "What the hell, no." But if it came from Damon John, the Shark Tank guy, he said, "Hey,
Yeah,
$100,000, I'll bring you under my wing, and I like you." It's a no-brainer. This is the same
yeah,
exact example, but it goes back to
yeah,
saying you have to mirror who you're selling to. So if it's an older crowd, I would bring in a spokesperson as an older gentleman, older woman, to be able to speak the same language you guys are, and then you get to convert those older crowds to understanding what you guys are doing on the social media side of things.
yeah. That's definitely an amazing insight, and it's nothing I've ever thought about before, because and the way I like to think of it is like similar to this, but kind of on a smaller scale, is like when you're taking if you're working in sales for someone who has their personal brand where they're doing coaching. So maybe someone like you, right?
Yeah.
And you're booking sales calls, you're getting tons of sales calls. The amount of calls you will be able to close by yourself, your close rate will be way, way higher than your closer's close rate because it's you. The people want to see you. You're the superhero. You're the TV star. You know what I mean? So if they see you, it's basically taking an order on the sales call, right? Not saying that the closers can't close, but you being you and you being the one they know and the one they trust and the one they like when they're on their phone and Instagram, it goes a long way. So it's a similar kind of effect. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
and what tends to happen is if you're the face, you end up getting charged more money. If you're having a conversation, you're not talking about experience at this time. Now we're talking about time that you're spending. Like for me to spend time with you, it requires this amount of money for you to be with me. But if you're getting closed by one of my closer, it may be a little bit cheaper, right? Think about all the
Yeah,
videos that you hear from like the Andy Elliott group that have their own sales team. They don't sound the same. They got similar verbiage, but it ain't the same when you talking to
and the
Andy
same.
Elliott. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with you.
definitely, definitely. Let's kind of get into you. What is the goal for Chanston Jennings in 2025? What
Yeah,
is the
man.
goal for you, for your business, your brand, for everything, the podcast as well? What is the goal?
I plan to come see you in UK, brother. I want to come do
Come,
speaking
come.
engagements across the country, across the world. I want to be able to be a national brand outside of just Florida and the outskirts. I want to be able to get in the TED Talk space. Um, I think we're developing our own form of TED Talk, which is gonna be cool. I just want
Amazing.
to impact as many people, man. I just want people to start doing the stuff that they love rather than what they feel like they have to do. Because as you know, so
Mm,
many people that are in a survival mindset that causes them to not flourish or grow or build their brand. So me being able to be a liaison or a piece of advice for them to be able to step into their full potential is my ultimate goal. So even if it's at a small scale or even if it's at a humongous scale, whatever I can do to impact and bring insight and inspiration is my ultimate goal, man.
definitely. I think that's amazing. I because I speak to a lot of coaches, right? It's like a lot of coaches, they come to this point in their career where obviously you've come to really quickly, where I like to call it a graduation. They graduate or coming of age, they graduate from the mindset of, I want to make so much cash, cash, cash. It gets to a point you make enough money. It's like, man, I could do this stuff even if I wasn't making money.
Yep.
Obviously, an extra couple zeros in the bank is good, but getting to that point, a lot of coaches, it takes a lot of time, but you've been able to do it relatively quickly.
You know why, man? Honestly, once I was at my lowest point and I was sleeping in my cars, living in hotels, I realized that all this stuff can go. All this stuff is frivolous, but what are we here for? And I don't know where your
Mm,
faith lies in, but I believe in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. And he came on this earth to impact. And it says in the word that we're supposed to enhance his kingdom, which means that we're supposed to give people the tools to be able to do their own thing to impact more people and more people and more people. It becomes a ripple effect, right? So for me, that was my mindset, even building the Luminary panel, right? Like, how can I
mm,
be a byproduct of understanding that the byproduct is just the byproduct? What do I mean by that? Me living in fulfillment, me living in alignment, me living on purpose, intentional, deliberate, will be the byproduct, or sorry, success will be the byproduct of me doing those 5 things. And me
Yeah.
intentionally having conversations, even if it's for free or for cost, me being able to have them to leave the conversation with something tangible that they can do immediately after this to make a difference, not only for them, but for the people around them. I did my job. Like, for example, last week, Tuesday, I had a speaking engagement at a college, Orange Technical College. And I told them, I said, listen, my form of success may be a little bit different from you guys. And my goal and my idea of success is if I leave this room with one person saying, I needed that and I'm ready to make the difference, then I did my job. There's a room of 50 kids. So I'm saying one person told their teacher and said, hey, I needed that. Thank you so much for bringing them in. Now I feel like I've done my job for the eternity of the week because I was able to do my job and I wasn't just trying to sell something, you know? And you know this too. Like, I'm sure you talk to so many other coaches that just have money on their mind, which is, again, important. Got to pay the bills. But what's the result? After you make a certain amount of money, then what? What's
Then
after
what?
that? You know? So
Definitely. And it's a common trend as well. You see a lot of coaches doing business models, business opportunity, biz op models, sorry. They transition into coaching. Obviously, some do it, majority of them do it for the guru thing where they can stack a lot of cash with low effort.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, genuine people, just do it because they've been able to get to this level and they know what, for example, sales or drop shipping or whatever has done for them, SMMA has done for them in their life. And they just want to help people who are in a similar situation as them. You know, it's amazing.
exactly. I agree, man. I think what more people and more human beings should start doing is living for other human beings. And obviously
Definitely.
doing that will get you a lot of accolades, a lot of money, a lot of this, a lot of that. But at the end of the day, are you truly leaving a legacy for the people around you? That's the question you gotta leave with. Are you living in purpose? Are you living on purpose?
Definitely.
That's why our program is called the Purpose Engine. We fuel people with
Amazing.
purpose decisions.
Mm.
That's it.
Amazing. We kind of spoke about your goals, but we didn't really get to kind of, leave the audience with this one last thing.
Okay.
You spoke about some really big goals. I think they're amazing. They're very much doable, right? What is the plan to get there? What are the steps you're going to take to be able to put yourself in that position, just so the audience can benefit?
That's a fantastic question. When it comes to your point, when it comes to having goals without a plan, it's just merely a dream. So for us, I think with us continuing to collaborate and network and build the relationships with organizations that bring us in on a regular basis and allow us to get there quicker. Obviously, social media has been extremely helpful, and we're all across all platforms to be able to, push the initiatives. But most importantly, no matter how many followers that you have, to your point earlier, if you're not converting these numbers of followers into real dollars or real connections, then you're just an influencer. You're not doing anything. Right?
Yeah, just a broke influencer. Exactly.
That's it. So you have to see this way. If you have a lot of followers, what is your goal and plan to impact at least 1 out of every 1,000 person that you have on here, right? Let's say you're a high ticket salesman and you got 200K and you need $1,000. That's what's that? 200.
That's
right?
200K, right? Yeah.
200K, right? You make that, we're just impacting 200 people at $1,000. Now, what if you were to have a higher ticket, say $5,000 for every 200 or 100,000 or whatever the case is? I'll say what I said. But yeah. So the biggest thing is identify what your purpose is while being a coach, and live through that and then that'll allow you or myself to answer the question to get to where I want to go.
Definitely, definitely. I think this has been an amazing one, Transden. But let me just ask you a quick question. Where does the name come from? It's kind of a unique name.
Man, I don't know.
What?
My dad said, I asked my dad the same question. He said, I thought about Johnson & Johnson. I just decided to call you Chauncey. I was like, all right, Dad, whatever. But I like it. I love it. It's unique. That whole tower.
Yeah, it's a cool name. It's a cool name.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that's where it came from, man.
Yeah, definitely. Amazing. Yeah, man, let me just ask you, where can the people just go to find out and learn more about what you do?
Yeah, you can find me on my personal social media, Chauncey Jennings, CHONSTEN, Jennings, JENNIGS. And you can find our podcast and website at theluminarypanel.com and at the Luminary Panel. You can find us on all social media platforms.
Amazing. This has been an amazing one, Transden. And hopefully we can have a podcast with you sooner, maybe in person as well.
Oh, man, I'd love to. UK, Dubai, you tell me, I'll try to get out there, man.
Amazing.
Thanks for having me.
I really hope you enjoyed this podcast. I want you to go away and execute everything there is that you've learned. Now, one thing I will say is if you're in a position where you're ready to actually take things to another level, you want structured, clear guidance, you want a team that can actually help accelerate you, book in a chat with our advisors. Why? We can blow up your personal brand to attract clients begging to work with you. All you got to do is book in a chat with our advisors and we can help make it happen. Sound fair enough?